I hate to break it to you, but you don't have the prerequisites required to squat. So you definitely don't want to be loading up with a heavy barbell and going down into the squat. Let me explain what I mean. If we think about the bottom position of a squat, there are multiple joints involved. So that means that there are multiple prerequisites that are required for us to be able to do a squat safely. Number one, enough flexion in the ankle. Number two, enough flexion in the knee. And number three, enough flexion in the hip. And technically number four, what's going on in the spine? So we're thinking about having good upright posture. We don't want to be doing a squat like this. You want to be developing enough strength through your spine to be going up into spinal extension. So that's a lot of prerequisites in order to squat safely. How do we fix it? Number one, we're talking about ankle flexion. So the easiest way to train this is isometrics in end range. So you're going to go as deep into this position as you humanly possibly can. I got a decent amount of flexion through my ankle. So once you're in that end stretch and you're feeling a stretch through here, maybe you're feeling some action through here, we're going to generate force in this position. We're going to let your body and your central nervous system know that A, this range is available, and B, not only is it passive, as in you're not using gravity, you're not using a 200-pound barbell to push you into this position, you're able to do it. We want to generate that force by finding end range. Now, the isometric is like I'm trying to push up, but I'm going to keep everything still, keep my heel on the floor. I'm applying force through my toes, through the ball of my foot, keeping my heel down. I'm generating a ton of force through this backside of my calf. And then I'm going to isometrically lift the opposite direction by trying to peel my toes and my foot off the floor. Now, I can get a little bit of cheat so that you can actually feel the tissue engage. But in an ideal world, you're doing true isometrics, and isometrics mean no movement. You're going to be feeling a lot of work, but not a ton of movement. So we'll do that again. See, I've already increased my range. I'm pressing down the long isometric, the progressive, and then I'm going to try and lift the regressive. And this stuff is hard. You should be training it at 80, 90, 100% of your max capacity because you're going to be loading it up with a barbell, and you sure as hell better be strong in these positions. That's ankle flexion. The second one is knee flexion. Now, I'm going to train it in an open hip position so you can see it more clearly. But again, you want to train it in the position that you're going to be putting heavy weight on your body in order to do that actual movement. So knee flexion, we're going to go into a classic little quad stretch. Now, the progressive isometric is me trying to kick into my hand, but I'm going to hold it and I'm going to feel my quad fire up like crazy. You're going to burn that sucker, build it to 80, 90% capacity, hold, breathe. And now you want to feel that hamstring kick in. So I think about maybe making my hand lighter. Maybe I let go entirely so that my hamstring is keeping that heel close to my glutes. We repeat. See, now I'm making actual contact heel to glute. Pails, I kick. Rails, I get that hamstring to fire. And if you've never done this before, you might cramp like a lunatic. Cramping is something called neurological confusion, which means that your brain has never sent this much mental force, mental energy to that tissue before, so your tissue is going to fire at 1,000%. Cramps are normal. They don't feel good. Come out, move around. If you get good at this stuff, that cramping will go away. We want to be strong in the hamstring so that when we go into knee flexion, that deep into the squat, you know you have the prerequisite required to do it safely. Hip flexion is a whole nother ball game. I'm going to hold onto the wall for support. I'm going to bring my knee all the way up into that position. I'm going to feel that same position, right? So in a squat, you're not really knee in, you're up and you're out. You're going to drive down. So it's like I'm trying to kick, but my arm's going to keep it still. And if you're like, I'm way too strong for that, then put your foot on a bench or put your foot on something that's not going to move because the isometric upwards is going to get that hip flexor to fire. We press down, get that glute to fire through here, and we lift up, get all that small tissue through here to fire. Okay? 3 down, 1 more to go. Now, spinal extension can be tricky because you're not just talking about one joint. You're not talking about 24 different joints that all have to function on their own. So to work and build and have it be a good warm-up before you squat, we're going to go into spinal extension. We'll still do an isometric, but the isometric is going to come from squeezing your hands and your knees towards each other. You can see that I'm actually gaining range as I do this. And then the opposite is I'm going to push my hands and knees away from each other, keeping all of that spinal extension that I just earned. We repeat. And we push. One more. And push. Good. Now we're primed. Let's retest that squat. Honestly, even on me, I barely did anything. I didn't even do both sides. That is significantly better, feels better in my body because my central nervous system is safe. I've demonstrated to my central nervous system that I can be safe through each one of those prerequisites. So when I combine them together, I can safely barbell back squat.